What's going on, everybody? You're back with Shades, and we're going to continue our Let's Play of Katawa Shoujo. Last time we left off, we had our nurse appointment. We went to the Shanghai with everyone. No one ordered the raspberry layer cake. I am still offended. Raspberry, as a confectionery, is delicious. But anyway, now we're on the roof and we're waiting for our friends, and I dropped something. Whoops. And we're waiting for our friends to come eat lunch with us. I know this feeling, because my freshman year of college, I was always the first guy to the lunch table, waiting for everybody. But let's just get started, shall we? The bells ring for lunch break, startling me back to reality. Soon afterwards, the quad below me bursts into life. Students pour out of the doors, down to the ground floor, intent on enjoying lunch at the quad and the lush gardens in this perfect weather. When I hear the door to the stairwell being pushed open, I don't bother turning to see who it is. The intruder starts coming toward me with uneven footsteps. Little river stones, the roof is covered with a rattle and crunch underfoot. The footsteps stop a few beats behind me, followed by a silence. I look upwards into the glowing eye of the sun, absorbing its warmth with my whole body. What are you doing? Of course it's Rin. It wouldn't be Emmy, she's sick. I turned around out of courtesy at her first words to behold the slim, awkward figure of Rin Tezuka. She looks very much like herself today, too. Her hair is maybe a tad messier than usual, as if she just got out of bed. She stands with her weight shifted onto one foot, looking at me with mild curiosity, as if I were something in a store's display window. I don't know, just spacing out, I guess. What about you? Emmy promised food. We usually eat here. I'm afraid you're going to be disappointed. I heard Emmy came down with a cold. Oh, I guess that makes sense. She wasn't in class. It's not common to get a cold in June, though. You don't think she went running at the track afterwards like she said? The rain just kept going. Probably. In the rain? In the rain. There is music. It's weird. That sounds like a bit too much for just keeping up with the training regime. Emmy is a hard-headed one, though. I can see her running in the downpour just because she had to. Well, that's obviously overdoing it. Probably why she came down with a cold, too. But I guess it's kind of cool. Speaking of that, I'm not feeling well either. Achoo! Rin sneezes pretty hard, failing to stop it in time. She cranes her head down to wipe her nose on her shoulder, so deciding that it would be too unladylike, I pull out my handkerchief and hold it to her nose. Here, bless you. Thanks. She clears her nose and I dab the handkerchief gently on it, wiping it clean. Her nose is really cute. Oddly enough, it's probably the girliest part of Rin's face. I think I'm blushing a little, but Rin doesn't notice. Dab dab! Thanks, I might be coming up or down with something too, like I was saying. Hope not. Rin doesn't seem to be bothered about eating, so despite the lack of Emmy-provided lunch, we stay up on the rooftop. She comes over and stands next to me, right up against the fence, looking into the same abstract distance I am. Nobody else seems to be coming around to intrude upon this calmness either. It's quiet and peaceful. What does one do on a lunch break if not eat? It turns out that between the two of us, we really don't know. Fortunately, passing time is an activity that manages itself just fine. Even though there's no conversation to fill the silence between the passing seconds, no pointless activities like cloudy gazing to spend upon the minute between now and then, time marches on relentlessly. I keep checking the time on my watch, then decide it's a dumb thing to do. Instead, I try to hold out for as long as possible before I check it again. Maybe I can hold out for 6 or 7 minutes. Rin remains silently, idly looking up at the cerulean expanse above us. I wonder why, more often than not, we don't speak much. She said that she doesn't like speaking because of her perceived difficulties with expressing herself properly. As for me, I just think I just got sucked into the habit at the hospital, where I spent such a long stretch of time never really talking to anyone. Most of the time I feel comfortable with this quiet mood, and even when I get the feeling that I have to break the silence, it's always so difficult to come up with something to talk about when it's with Rin. She and I are on such different wavelengths that nothing seems to be on common ground. What is it you like about the sky so much? She turns to me, her eyes dark and serious. The sky is the only thing that is perfect. Wow! That's an artist thing to say. I know it. You could say I'm an expert at the sky if you wanted, and I am even if you didn't want to, a sky expert. It's always different, but it's always perfect also when it's different. I follow her gaze up to the boundless blue expanse, thinking of her words. Have you ever wanted to be something different? It wouldn't be so bad to be this guy. No, I mean someone else. Someone different. To go to normal school like everyone else, not have to worry about stuff. What stuff? Should I try to find the right words for a moment, but I can't manage to form a sentence that I'd be comfortable with actually using. Man, I really don't want to say it out loud. Try. I'm not so good at mind reading. Do you ever want to not be disabled? She thinks about this and shakes her head, frowning. That's a hard question. I don't know what to say. It's okay if you don't say anything. For some reason, I'm just so unsatisfied with who I am right now that I'm constantly thinking stuff like that. It's pretty hard to admit, but there it is. Honestly, I feel relieved about saying it out loud to someone, even if it's just Rin. What do you mean it's just Rin? Is Rin not good enough for your emotions, Hisao? Is Rin not good enough for an emotional cushion? Is Rin not good enough to confide in? What would she do with your secrets, Hisao? What would she do with them? If anything, she would just forget them and walk away. This music helps so much! I think I want to be different sometimes. I've thought about changing myself lately, but it's a bit scary, like walking backwards with your eyes closed. The difficult part is to know where your toes are not pointing. I mean, directions. Even if I don't do anything, I would never stay the same. It's like my old paintings. They are different than what I paint now, because I'm different, but they're still my paintings, so there's something same. That's really strange. I'm different every day, but I'm still me every day. Who am I then? Is that a riddle? If you want it to be. I don't know the right answer, though, so you have to come up with it yourself. Well, it's the sky, isn't it? Going by your definition just now. I actually managed to surprise her by that. Maybe she's just already forgotten about it. That's right, but I was thinking about myself when I said that. Very strange. Could it be that I actually am the sky? I don't think that's possible. Your logic's a bit off somewhere. She looks down and shuts up, and I can see she's quickly going over the deduction mentally, seemingly unhappy with the result that she finally arrives at. Yeah, maybe I'm not the sky. Would make sense. I have a hard time knowing what kind of person I am. You're not the only one. It's like my mind is in some other place than the rest of me. Yo, do I know that feeling? Underwater? Yeah, I wonder how it got there. I have no answer, so a brief silence falls between us for a moment. I shift my gaze back to the sky above us. The last time I really paid much attention to the sky was... I guess it must have been at the hospital, where I could only see a thin strip of sky from the window of my room. If I walked up to the windows, pressed my face against the cold glass, the strip became bigger, but not much. The sky made me feel sad and lonely, a reminder of the world on the other side. I wonder if there's another world beyond the sky we see up from here on the school's roof as well. Yeah, space, Hisao. Space. There's another world out there too. It's called space. The sky... Oh, wait, I read this. I can't stop comparing my life at Yamaka to my hospitalization, but I really should. I'm not there anymore. The narrow sky from the window of my hospital room, the faces of the doctors, the faces of my parents, the off-white walls everywhere, Iwanako's letter, echoing the words she never said. They're things of the past now. I wish I could forget everything up till now, and the time would stop completely. There'd only be me, Rin, and the sky, and a turtle lunch break on this roof, perfect, unchanging, and forever. Boy, do I know that feeling. There's always those moments in life where you're like, I wish this moment could last forever. I wish this would never end, and I wish that, I don't know, this good feeling could last forever. But there is no single good feeling that will last forever. There is nothing in this world that lasts forever. This people, animals, nature, this planet, the sun, none of those things will last forever. And it's hard to imagine, but that sun up there that is the source of all life on this planet, it's not going to be there forever. It has a limited amount of fuel. This earth, it's only going to be here so long as that sun is giving us life, and so long as humans don't destroy it. But in all honesty, if the sun were to go out tomorrow, all life in this world would die. All of it. Within seconds. So, it's one of those things where it's you have to realize nothing lasts forever. And that's not a depressing thing. It's a realistic thing. It's enjoy what you have while you have it for as long as it lasts. And make the most of it. This could also be a metaphor for green energy, solar energy and things like that. But it's also a metaphor for life. The good times with your friends don't last forever. It's always going to stop, and something is going to happen. And what is a true show of friendship is what happens after the bad stuff. Do you come back together? Do you still care for each other? Do you still want to be friends? It's not the good things that make a friendship. It's what you do in recovering from the bad. That's what shows the bond. I like this game. That's why I really like this game. It makes me think, say words. I'm not sure if I like it or hate the school. I'm not sure if I like or hate the school. Could have gone on a normal school if I wanted, but I chose to come here. Why? I decided I would. Kind of like melon or plum jelly. Do you think it was a good idea? I mean, there are a lot of good things about the school, but I think there are a few bad things also. I know. I kind of collect people because they are interesting. People here are really amazing. Most of them, but not all. Some people can't take it. They hurt too much. They get really bad sometimes. You know, they hurt. I wonder if you're like that too. I hope not. I don't like things like that. Hey, I'm not your case study, and I'm not going to give up or die or anything. Anyway, I meant more of this place is too distant from the real world. What's the real world? Everything out there, real people with normal everyday lives that fit together like a puzzle. You don't think we aren't like that? Real people? Well, maybe we aren't. No, we are. I just meant that it feels more like we're the leftover pieces. Rin thinks for a while, her almond-shaped eyes narrowing a bit as she bites her lip like a bit like a child. Is it hard to be disabled? Her question earns a dry chuckle from me. You tell me, you've been in this business a lot longer than I have. She thinks about it for another while. I don't really feel that disabled. I mean, I pretty much do everything differently, but it's not that hard. I can always practice. I've started to practice food things this year. I'd want to learn to cook in a real kitchen someday. That's admirable, but I don't think it's just a state of mind. Maybe not to you. I have no good counter to that, so I concede by falling silent. The situation is making me more and more confused. I know what I want, but I don't know how to reach it. Rin seems to be able to believe she can simply will herself into shape she thinks needs to be, but I can't decide whether she wants to be a bird or a butterfly. I think in the end I'm not really happy with who I am either, but that doesn't mean I regret being who I am. That's the thing that's wrong with you, Hisao. I've also started to process that rather blunt statement before Rin suddenly hugs me. What are you doing? I've never been hugged by a girl with no arms before. To be honest, it doesn't really physically feel like a hug. The awkward way she presses her body against mine and the lack of embracing arms makes me feel like she fell on top of me. But the warmth of a real hug is still there, and that's how I recognize it for what it was. I'm hugging you, Hisao. I know that, but... Is it wrong? Is this what you're supposed... I thought this was what you're supposed to do. I'm not really used to this kind of thing. The first time Emmy hugged me, I got surprised and kicked her in the stomach. I knew that line was coming because I saw it somewhere on Tumblr. But to be quite honest, it's still funny. I got kicked pretty hard, so she hasn't been hugging me an awful lot after that. That's such a shame. It's not wrong, it's just me. Things are a bit hard for me, for the time being. I can't seem to react properly to anything. Really? So it's hard being disabled after all? I guess she has me cornered there. I don't have the energy to start arguing against it, but I feel like I have to get something out. Well, no, it's not hard, it's just me overthinking things. I really wish I didn't feel sorry for myself all the time. I wonder if I was always this fragile or if I became this way after my incident. Nothing had ever truly shaken my world like that before, so there's no telling. Rin presses her cheek against me tightly. I can feel the warmth of her body close against me. Her body temperature feels really high, as if she had absorbed the sunlight into herself and was now sharing it with me, or perhaps the natural state for her. It's the most comforting thing I felt in a long, long time. Wow, your heartbeat really does sound weird. It's like a drunken percussion orchestra. Please don't say stuff like that. I get very uncomfortable. I laugh at her comment anyway in an attempt to ease the tension. It sounds a little bit too forced. Sorry guys, just wanted to do something real quick. Okay. Oops, I'm out of the window. Man, I'm sorry I'm such a mess. It's okay. It's the best part of you. Hearing that doesn't make me happy. She breaks off the hug and settles down. An awkward silence falls upon us like a blanket, me feeling embarrassed about myself and Rin trying to arrange her expression into something she likes. One last time, I glance upwards. The rooftop really is great. It's like I'm just a little bit closer to the sky. I know a better place, but we can't go there on lunch break. I could take you there sometime if you want. The bell rings for the beginning of the afternoon classes, and Rin stands up to make her way downstairs. I don't hurry after her, deciding to stay up here for just a little while longer. Thanks for the hug. Thanks for not kicking me. It's just like the funniest thing I've ever heard. It's like, oh, what are you doing? Just kick. You just like a strike. It's like. After Rin leaves, I finally let tears roll down my cheeks and cry for my condition for the first and only time in my life. Then I cast away the hollow person lying on the hospital bed forever. That's a good thing to do, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. If you feel like crying, just cry. Like to be really honest, from what I've seen, the body's necessity of crying is its way of emotionally resetting. So if you need to cry, just let it happen. Just let it fucking happen. Like it's for your body to emotionally reset back to zero, to equilibrium. But because like crying is basically just like an over like it's when you feel an emotion too much to the extent that your body's like stop. That's why people cry when they're angry, when they're sad, when they're frustrated. There's every form of crying, every form of emotion can lead to extreme crying, even extreme happiness. I'd rather see someone laugh while crying, or cry while laughing rather. 2 days later, I feel less miserable. I even go for a long, brisky, healthy walk like the nurse recommended, something which I had avoided and dodged with all sorts of excuses earlier. I feel more active in class as well, delighting our science homeroom teacher, Mr. Muto, with correct and promptly delivered answers. That's actually very true. Exercising regularly, like even if it's like every other day, it doesn't have to be every day, can increase activity. That's why I'm exercising. Like not every other day either, because the days I have class, I come back and I'm bleeding knackered. I come back. I exercise fairly regularly, like 3 or 4 times a week, and it's like really good for me. It's a really good thing to get done for yourself. Just to exercise every now and then. The break right now between 2 morning classes is too short for any sort of meaningful activity, but too long to just spend it sitting in the classroom doing nothing. Going on into the hallway is much better, but flexing my stiffened muscles is a better use of them than letting them get even stiffer by staying seated. The door of the neighboring classroom opens up, and students of 3-4 emerge to further fill up the already semi-crowded hallway. It seems our teacher kept them in for an extra few minutes. Emmy's among them. She notices me noticing her, which almost makes me look away on reflex. I don't, however, and Emmy smiles at me as she happily skips toward me past the other students. Emmy looks pretty energetic, and showing no signs of illness whatsoever. It seems she recovered from the cold. Hey, good morning. Nice to see you back on your feet. Feeling better now? She looks fine to me, but I still feel compelled to ask. Thanks, and yeah, I do. It was just a cold, nothing serious. Emmy laughs confidently as if to emphasize her condition. I wonder for a moment what would count as serious in Emmy's book. We would know. We went through her route a while back. She seems to be eager to put the topic aside, though. Where are you going? Off to Rin's room to see if she's awake yet. Oh, she skipped the morning class. A sheepish smile emerged on Emmy's face, and she gets slightly flustered. Not exactly. It seems that she caught the cold that I had. Sorry to hear that. Well, she was out in the rain on Sunday with us after all. I saw her on Monday, and she was feeling a bit under the weather back then, too. Yeah, anyway, I'll ask the nurse for some cold medication to give her if she doesn't get better soon. She leaves for the girls' dorm. I want to go with her to wish Rin well. I want to tell her that I'm better now, too, but it doesn't feel appropriate. An unspecified feeling diverts my thoughts away. Somehow I can't just summon the resolve to go in there. Is this what Iwanako went through when she tried to tell me what she felt? I mean, potentially. I feel what Iwanako felt was more that she was useless in the situation. From the little we saw her, she seemed like a very nice, kind young lady. It's just that she didn't know what to do for Hisao. I mean, she visited him. She was like one of the few people that visited him regularly. And like it slowly stopped because she didn't feel like she was doing anything. She wasn't substantially helpful. And yes, a bit of that was on her end and a bit of that was on Hisao's end. But like, she doesn't seem like a bad person. From what I can tell, it's that she just didn't know how to approach it. You left. She didn't talk to you enough. She didn't keep in contact. It's kind of her fault. It's also kind of your fault. Bygones be bygones. And she probably just felt useless and just didn't want to say anything. But that's me projecting, because that's how I would feel in that situation. Even though I'm feeling more energetic, I'm still hesitant about going over there to talk to Rin. It's not until 2 days later on Friday that I finally gather enough courage to enter the girls' dorm. And as the first person I meet inside for directions to Rin's room. I knock on Rin's unmarked door and wait. After a few moments of silence, I hear something rustling inside the room. I start wondering if I maybe should have brought her something for her, like a can of warm coffee or some oranges. I could have peeled them for her. Well, too late now. The door opened soundlessly. It was already unlocked, and I find myself staring at Rin, who stares back at me. She looks like she's just got out of bed with her hair all messed up. And barely any clothes on. What's it? The underpants dance? And barely any clothes on. Hello. There's a strange, stupid-looking smile on Rin's face. I'm not exactly sure why. Rin smiles so rarely that it seems a bit out of place every time, especially so now, given her partially undressed state. Said state makes me feel extremely conflicted about whether or not this was a good idea. Same. Her cheeks are flushed rose red, contrasting with milky pale complexion of a person who doesn't get enough sunlight. Her forehead looks sweaty, as though she might have a fever. Hi. Now what? I didn't plan on getting any further. I didn't plan any further than this. I don't know what to do. I only planned after knocking on the door. This is Rin staring at me with those expectant eyes of hers again. Something about the situation gives me a very strange vibe. Her eyes are even more vacant than usual, and she seems to have a hard time focusing them on anything. Why the lack of clothes is disturbing, but since she's herself, she doesn't seem to be bothered. Why should I be? I keep telling myself that. And I thought I'd pay you a visit since you haven't been in art club, and I want to talk to you with you and wish you well. Rin doesn't show any signs of recognizing what I just said, making me wonder if she actually understood my words or if she even heard them. Maybe it's the fever making her groggy. She might have been asleep before I came over. Okay. She shakes her head and withdraws from the door, walking back inside the small room. From the doorway, you can see her walk to her bed and half fall down, half sit down on a messy pile of bed sheets. The open door seems to be more of an obstacle in my mind than the closed door was, but since Rin doesn't say anything else, I step through it into her room. Art! Rin is on her bed, leaning against the wall, leaving the only chair in the room for me. She keeps quiet even after I sit down, so maybe she meant to invite me and just forgot to say it out loud. An implied invitation. Very exciting. No one's visited me before. What happened? This is weird. What happened? The breaking of the sounds draws my attention from the room it inhabits to its inhabitant, who currently seems to be in the middle of a very profound thought process. Actually, that was not true about visiting. But Emmy doesn't count even if she visits. She always pampers me too much. I think she's having too much fun. I think I forgot how to put a bra on by myself. She looks groggily down at her chest, which is probably why I don't have one on, now that I think about it. I haven't failed to notice that Rin doesn't have. Whoop! Freudian slip. I haven't failed to notice that Rin doesn't have her shirt buttoned up either, but I try to keep my eyes strictly locked on hers. Yo, I feel the same. I've been close to a few of my female friends, even to the point of one of my friends fully willing to be naked behind my back, and like she's like, "God, I'm naked." And it's like, "God, I'm naked." I'm like, I don't care. There's nothing for me to see there. I don't care. It's not because I'm ace or anything like that. It's more like, you're my friend's boyfriend. I don't care. It's rather evident that she's not a very body-conscious person. My own body, however, is quite conscious of hers right now. She came to wake me up at 7:30 today. Can you imagine that? She pauses for a while and glances up at my dumbfounded face. On second thought, you probably can. It's still like that reverse rainbow fish I tried to imagine earlier. That was hard. Well, yes, that seems like a pretty normal time to wake up if you want to go to class in the morning. I'm trying to sound reasonable as possible to counteract Rin's unreasonable annoyance. I told her to saw it off. She gave me these meds and told me to take them. I followed her eyes on the night table, then the pill bottle sitting on top of it. I pick it up and turn it around and look at the label and see what kind of medication Emmy brought. Active ingredient. Codeine. You took all these? No. Yes. I've been eating some since there's so many of them. She did make this thing not so bad. Actually, I think I'm feeling just fine. Her head she ate too much. She took too much. Her head rolls round and round, making her look like she's either trying to stretch her neck muscles or possibly pass out. She took several of these pills. Can they be safe? At least it's bound to have some side effects, which I'm afraid I'm witnessing right now. Don't take too many meds. 1 or 2 pills is more than enough. Stop it. I am feeling just fine. I am fine. Someone just took this buzzing away from my head. I can't think straight. An annoyed expression returns to Rin's face. It's like many of those insect things, or one really big insect thing with lots of wings, very much color and everything. What's the word for those? Oh, never mind, I remembered. It's butterflies. She smiled slightly at her last observation. The small pause in her monologue is not long enough for me to dare say something that could potentially, but not likely salvage this discussion. I love butterflies. They're the best animal. She's so cute, but also so high. She's so high. Oh shit! Wow, I didn't realize I was approaching the time limit. Let's see if I can go a little longer. Did you see any on your way here? Hisao. She utters my name in an afterthought, possibly to make clear that she is now addressing me instead of just speaking her mind to whoever might be listening. The odd situation has left me speechless more or less since the moment Rin first opened her mouth. Now that she herself doesn't seem to have anything else to add, silence fills the small room. It makes me glance around again in an attempt to find something to talk about. Rin's room is about as small as mine. The big window, which takes up most of the wall furthest from the door, opens to the east just like mine. It looks very normal, which strikes me as strange. I expected something more different. I like this room. It's very cozy. About a dozen paintings, most of them in Rin's signature abstract style, and a few art posters that are taking up almost all the available wall space, but that's about the only real difference between her room and mine. The room's not exactly aesthetic, but it doesn't look like what I expect from a girl's room either. The faint smell of art, of paint and paper floating in the air. It's the same smell the art room has. Rin isn't too concerned about being tidy, it seems. Everything she owns seems to be arranged in various piles around her room. You know what, fuck it, I'm gonna end the part here because I don't want to go too long. But I will just pick it up next time, right where we left off. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, hit that like button. You want to see more videos from me from this series, hit the subscribe button. And you're using the Shadyverse. My name's Shades, and this girl is super high. See you guys next time. Bye.